Chicago Bulls look to sign Demarcus Cousins after he was just released by the Milwaukee Bucks. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. So if you're a Bulls fan, and it is a very good time to be one, hit the big red subscribe button. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And guys, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video, because I do so every single day. So you don't want to miss out. All right, as mentioned, in case you have not heard, Demarcus Cousins is officially a free agent once again. The Bucks let him go, all right? And he did, in his stint with the Milwaukee Bucks, have a pretty decent stretch, all right? Again, he averaged 9 points and 6 rebounds. Again, those numbers aren't that impressive, but this is not the all-star Demarcus Cousins that we've known, you know, in the past, right? That was putting up monster numbers like 25 and 12. This is a much more compromised, reduced role Demarcus Cousins dealing with and coming off a bunch of major injuries. And so in 17 games that he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, he averaged about 9 points, 6 rebounds, and he had 5 starts for them. And like I said, he was decently productive. And the fact is, the Bucks were going through some COVID issues, some injuries, and Demarcus Cousins stepped in and played pretty well. So it was surprising to see him let go by the Bucks. And the reason that the Bucks sided was that they wanted some roster flexibility. Basically, there's a contract guarantee date that the Bucks had, and if they had kept Boogie past that date, they would have guaranteed his contract. They didn't want to do that, and they wanted to have some roster flexibility, basically saying that they wanted an open roster spot. So, Boogie was let go. So you might be thinking, Faiz, where do the Bulls fit into all this? Why are you bringing up the Bulls? Well, the reason is because once Boogie was let go, there's a lot of chatter on Twitter, a lot of questions I got of if it makes sense for the Bulls to sign Demarcus Cousins, right? So let's talk about that, all right? Should the Bulls sign Demarcus Cousins? Does it make sense for them to do so? All right. As far as does it make sense for the Bulls to sign Demarcus Cousins? In theory, yes, because the Bulls don't have a lot of front court depth. They virtually have none, because you have Nikola Vucevic, and then behind him, nobody's really playing and cracking the rotation. Tony Bradley, who we signed in the offseason, hasn't been playing in the rotation. He's been out of it. Marko Simonovic, who we brought over from Europe, has not been playing in the rotation. We just signed Jordan Bell, who can play both the 4 and the 5. He has not played and been out of the rotation. So really, you're running a very undersized team out there with guys like Derrick Jones Jr. playing center at times, right? And Javonte Green. And so it's really just been Vooch and nobody else. So in theory, it does make sense for the Bulls to bring in a front court player like Boogie. But keep this in mind. Right now, it doesn't seem to be an issue in terms of the Bulls' success. Obviously, they're number 1 in the East. If an injury were to happen, God forbid, to Vooch, then certainly you could look to make that move. But I kind of look at this like I looked at the Carmelo Anthony situation when Carmelo was kind of getting no offers from teams, right? Remember when he was a free agent? Everybody knew Carmelo Anthony could still play. Everybody knew that, all right? But did you really need him? You really didn't. So that's the same thing here with Boogie. I know Boogie's decent. Do we need him? No. And more importantly, my biggest issue with Demarcus Cousins throughout his entire career has always been his temperament. Demarcus Cousins is a hothead. He has had some chemistry issues. And if Boogie comes here and he does not get any playing time, which is very realistic, he doesn't crack the rotation, very realistic, is he going to be okay with that? Or is he going to disrupt team chemistry? Because if he's going to do that, I don't want him. And I'm telling you folks, based off of Boogie's past, you can't rule that out. So if it's going to lead to all that, no. In theory, we need a front court player, yes. Boogie's productive, yes. But then again, I could ask you, if he is so productive, why did the Bucks let him go? Why did other teams let him go? He's been bounced around on a bunch of teams in the past, and they've all let him go. Because Demarcus Cousins could be good, but not good enough. And so at this point, should the Bulls sign Boogie Cousins? It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. They could take a shot at him, maybe a 10-day. But I'm really just not a big fan of it. I just don't think we need to. I'd much rather the Bulls take a swing at the trade deadline for, you know, an impact player, right? And we need a 4 at this point. We need a power forward, a starting power forward. I've mentioned Jeremy Grant I think he'd be a fantastic fit. Obviously, it would take a lot more actually, to get him. But in terms of the backup bigs, we really aren't playing anybody right now, and we're winning, so why disrupt it? If an injury happens, sure, we could take a look at Boogie Cousins, but at this point, I'm not clamoring and telling the Bulls, go and sign Boogie. I just don't think we need him. And if he was so needed, he would be on a team right now. The Bucks, let him go for a reason. So, to me, would rather have the Bulls take a swing at the trade deadline than sign Boogie at this point. Just don't think it's worth it. Again, if they sign him, would I hate it? No, it's not the worst thing in the world. And he does fit a need, but for the most part, I'd rather make the moves at the trade deadline. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.